Hey, Sterile Processing Universe, it's Hank Balch here, and you're watching Fighting Dirty. And if you do me a favor, please subscribe to our new Beyond Clean YouTube channel for all of the different video series that we're now coming out with. We have Bob Mars, Real Talk, and now we have Michael Matthews with Beyond the Headlines, and I'm doing a couple of those news stories with Mike now. So a lot of fun things coming out almost every day through the channel. So subscribe, comment. If you've got any topics that you want us to cover on the videos or on the podcast, please let us know. We'll do our best to make it happen. So for this episode, I'm going to talk about why certification does not equal opportunity. I know that may sound like a funny title, but hang with me here. Many of you know, just because you get certified does not mean that someone is going to start beating down your door to give you a raise or to give you a promotion. Oftentimes, certification is a part of the required job duties, or if you live in a state that mandates certification, it's part of the entire industry in that state that you have to get certified. And so really the question is, do I get additional certifications? Do I go on and get a leadership certification, or do I get a specialist certification? And I see those questions all the time. Is it worth the study? Is it worth the cost? What does it do for me? Well, I'm going to be honest. In one sense, it doesn't do a whole lot. It adds a little credentials to your name badge, a couple more letters to make that a little bit longer. But just like with the initial certification, no one's going to be beating down your door to give you a raise or to give you a promotion simply because you got additional certifications. One of the reasons that is healthcare today, it's hard enough to get human resources to understand what the basic sterile processing certification is, much less what a secondary one is or what a third certification. For instance, I have all 4 certifications that are offered through the ISHM organization. And having that conversation with a recruiter or with a VP of Surgical Services, for instance, what do all those letters mean in their eyes, and especially as they calculate your salary, they don't mean a whole lot. So, again, we're talking about in the context of opportunity, what do these credentials mean in the field? Now, there's a caveat here. If you're applying for a job or if you're wanting to move into a promotion opportunity that does require secondary certifications, then obviously it's worth it. I'll give you a great example. In the jobs where I was a director, I would almost always write into my job descriptions additional certifications the higher up the chain that you went. So for instance, we required initial CRCST certification if you're going to be a technician. If you want to be a lead technician, and we required the CIS certification through ISHM, and of course there's the same types of certification through CPSPD. If you want to become a supervisor or manager, you would need the CHL certification. And now with the additional scope certifications, the CER or the CFER, all of those can be built in, as well as another certification maybe instead of the CIS that you want to build into a lead tech position, and definitely for scope specialists, for instance. But that's the way that in the inside as a manager or director, you can incentivize your team to get those credentials. However, that's only applicable for job descriptions that require those additional certifications. I can tell you right now, the majority of sterile processing director jobs around the country, all they require in terms of certification is that initial sterile processing certification. CRCST, CBSBT, that's all that you need. And so don't let anyone tell you that in order for you to have real opportunity, that you need to get all of these certifications. So let me take another step back and really give you some context. At the end of the day, all that a certification says is that you can pass a test. That's all it says. I'll tell you why. Do you believe the testing center smarter than you came in? No. You don't learn anything by taking the test. Everything that you put down on that test, you already knew, you studied for, you learned, and then you applied it on the test. But if you study and you learn those things and you don't take a test, you know just as much as that other guy who did take the test. So don't let anyone tell you that you can't learn the industry and understand the industry unless you have a whole bunch of certifications behind your name. So what's the moral of this story and what's the reason for this whole episode? It's this. True career growth is not necessarily tied to a whole bunch of credentials. We all know people who have a lot of certifications who still don't know how to do the job. Either it's soft skills, it's lack of experience, oftentimes it's a little dash of pride. They think they know more than they actually know. All that being said, the real opportunity for growth is people. If you can network with people, collaborate with people, train and get mentored early on in your career to get opportunities for that first lead tech position job, that first supervisor job, that first manager job. Have someone who knows you, trusts you, understands your knowledge base. You can grow extremely quick. And you don't need to have the certifications. You don't have to jump through all those hoops to grow. I know folks in the field who are not even certified, who have terrific departments, cutting edge, best practice in sterile processing, and they don't have one credential behind their names. Now, they know the industry. They have studied. They're passionate about sterilization and disinfection. They're passionate about team building. Those are the real skills that matter, and no piece of paper can really tell you that. So, I want you to walk away from this episode encouraged that yes, you can do a lot of good things with certification. But also, keep the perspective. The real power and the real opportunity for growth is not a piece of paper and it's not credentials, it's people. Now go out, build relationships with other folks in the industry, especially leaders that you know and respect, and ask them to help you grow. That's the way that you're going to get there. Until next time, keep fighting dirt.